Hello and Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the Advanced Audit and Assurance Orientation for exams in September 23 and December 23. And this is an orientation for the Advanced Audit and Assurance International stream. And I am your tutor, Kashif Kamran. Now, just before starting on with the AAA orientation, I would like to share my tutor profile with all of you. In terms of my tutor profile, I am a fellow chartered certified accountant. I have a certificate in international auditing, and I am a CA finalist from the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Pakistan. In terms of my experience, it's been over 15 years since I am teaching the ACCA qualification, and my core specialization lies in teaching the paper AA, AAA, and SBL. I'm also a registered mentor for the Oxford Brookes University. In terms of my achievements, my passing rates, it should be AAA, sorry. My passing rates for AAA are above the global averages. And that is one of the unique feature of my online classes, that each session, my passing rates for AAA are above the AAA global averages. And you know the AAA global averages are very low, and I will be speaking of that in my orientation session today. I've conducted 13 AAA ACCA webinars from March 2018 to September 2021, which were organized by ACCA Pakistan. And that's the highest number of webinars taken by any tutor for ACCA Pakistan. I'm now conducting my own Webinar to Success series for the last 1.5 years, known as Webinars to Success. In terms of my affiliation, I head the online teaching platform, which is my own setup, Kashif Kamran's Digital Learning, known as KKDL, and that's where you are taking this AAA course from. I'm also affiliated with BAC, which is a gold-approved learning provider of ACCA in Lahore, Pakistan, and I'm also connected with Sept College in India. So that's my tutor profile. Now let's move on and start looking at how can you be connected with me as a teacher. In the social media era we are living in, it's very important that you know the possible ways to get connected with me. You can get connected with me on my Instagram page, which is instagram.com/kashif.kamran. You can connect with me on my KKDL Facebook page, which is facebook.com/KKDLP. You can follow me on LinkedIn at my LinkedIn profile given in front of your screen. You can watch my videos on YouTube, any extra videos, any extra supports you would like to watch. You can email me your answers for review at AAAmock@gmail.com. So this is extremely important for all of you, because during the course of your classes, if you want to email me any question for review and you want me to check it and give you a feedback to your answers, you can do that on AAAmock@gmail.com. And you can follow me on my website, which is kashifkamran.com. So these are possible ways to connect. You're already in the WhatsApp group, you know my number, and you know how to interact with the tutor. Now, moving away from how to get connected, let's start looking at the core part of the AAA orientation. Let's start looking at the paper itself. AAA, understanding the paper. Now, first of all, in terms of the brought forward knowledge, there are two knowledge inputs which are required for AAA. Number one is the AA paper for sure, and then is the SBR paper. If you got exemptions from AA, because that's one of the frequently asked questions, then you should not be worrying about how would you recover the AA knowledge, because my course is very deep and very complete. And if you go through my course, you will gain the right knowledge and the right confidence on the side of the auditing knowledge, which is needed to pass the AAA paper. So if you have not given the AA paper, that should not be any issue. But if you have given, could be an added advantage, because you might understand things more quickly and more easier. Because for AAA, AA is the essential input. SBR, to me is a very, very important input. And that's the reason I recommend all my students either to give SPR before AAA or to give SPR with AAA. If you have already passed your SPR in the last 6 months, or you have passed your SPR in the last 1 year, you are in a very good bracket because you will have up-to-date accounting knowledge and you will need less time to revise the accounting knowledge. All accounting standards which are part of SBR syllabus are examinable in AAA. Now, in what context are they examined and in which syllabus areas are they examined and how much depth of an accounting standards you should be knowing? I will be sharing light on that shortly. But yes, SBR do play a very crucial part in your success in the AAA paper. So you need to revise your accounting standards. You need to ensure that the gap between SPR and AAA is as less as possible because that will give you an added advantage in the AAA paper. And I will be sharing emphasis on how and where. So these are two essential inputs you need for the AAA paper. Now, moving away from the two essential inputs, let's look at the paper format. Now, the paper format for AAA is pretty simple. You can see in front of your screen that there are 3 questions. All are compulsory questions, so there is no choice. There is 1 question in the section A, and then there are 2 questions in the section B of the paper. In the section A, you have the question number 1, which is for 40 technical marks and 10 professional marks. And in the section B, you have the question 2 and the question 3 with 20 technical marks each and 5 professional marks each. So in total, you have 20 professional marks and 80 technical marks in the AAA paper. Now, it's a pretty simple looking paper format, and you have 3 hours and 15 minutes to do this paper. I will be doing a separate session on time management after the orientation in the next week to come. So I will not be discussing the time management of the paper because I will do another crisp, quick session on time management separately because I want to investigate the time management very carefully because it is one of an important subject matter of the AAA paper. So 3 questions, all compulsory, split into section A and section B, and you have a split of 80 technical marks and 20 professional marks. Now let's further investigate the paper and further investigate the syllabus. So you have a very good command on the paper, the syllabus and the structure and how things will come in question number 1, 2, and 3, because AAA is a very organized paper. Is a very structured paper, but on the same time, it is a challenging paper because the passing rate is low. So we need to do a balance between a very structured paper and a very challenging paper through this orientation session today. Inside the syllabus, AAA has 7 syllabus areas, which is right in front of your screen. And the 7 syllabus areas consist of A, B, C, D, then E, F, G. The syllabus area A is regulatory environment, B is ethical and professional issues, C is practice management and quality management, D is planning and audit of the historical financial statements, E is completion and reporting, F is other assignments, and G is current issues. Now, in terms of these syllabus areas in front of your screen, you can see that 2 syllabus areas are marked in red, which is the syllabus area D and E. They are the core part of the AAA paper. And this is the part of the AAA paper which needs the SBR knowledge, because the question from D and E will test your knowledge around accounting treatments. You need to comment on the accounting treatments. You need to identify what is wrong in the accounting treatment. You need to identify what management has done wrong in the given accounting treatment in the case study. So knowing what is wrong in the accounting treatment, or identifying what is wrong in the accounting treatment, or identifying what wrong management has done in the accounting treatment is what comes from syllabus area D and E. In a question on risk, in a question on evidence, and in a question on reporting. So please note this down very carefully. A question on risk, a question on reporting. So these are the two R's, and a question on evidence. So these are three topics which are examined in where you need to know the accounting knowledge, because in the case study, there will be accounting issues. Management might have done a wrong accounting treatment, or the management thinking about the accounting treatment is wrong, and you need to tell why it is wrong and what is the likely implication of the wrong accounting treatment for the financial statements or for the audit report. So syllabus area D and E is critical, and that's the reason I highlighted them in red. You will find the syllabus area D and E in my portal under the heading of block 3. So when you come to the block 3, you need to give significant time of your total study time on block 3. Block 1, block 2, block 4 should be done very quickly, but block 3 is a block which will take a lot of time when you see my portal. And I hope you have seen on my portal the block 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a category of how things are on my portal. And I will just be connecting the blocks with my syllabus for your guidance. But the block 3 is the most critical block where I think you should spend 50% of your total time you're giving to AAA. So this is the syllabus, not very deep, just 7 syllabus areas. Current issues, leave that aside. Current issues are only examinable when there is some examining team support available on it, like examining team writes an article on it, or examining team gives a hint on the current issue, like from a mock exam published for September paper. Otherwise than that, current issue is not a regular feature of AAA. It is not something which comes in every single exam setting, March, June, September, December. No, current issue comes, what is my relevance to current issue is that in last 2 years, you must have seen current issue only coming once. So current issue only comes in when there is a proper support from the examining team on it by writing an article, or there is some sort of a hint from the examining team through the mock exam. Now we know there is a current issue, which is still a current issue, and that is on my portal, which is known as climatical risk and the auditor responsibility. So you will still go with that current issue for September and December exams, and you will still watch my video on that current issue, because that is still relevant for exams in 2023. If there is any change in the current issue in the next few months, I will be updating that and updating you in the WhatsApp group. But currently, when you sit down to study, you're not looking at 7 syllabus areas. You're primarily looking at 6 syllabus areas. And in the 6 syllabus areas, D and E should take 50% of your time. Is that clear to all of you? Before we move on and further investigate how the syllabus gets connected with the paper and what sort of approach you need to take on for accounting standards. Is everyone sound and clear so far, so forth? Okay, that's great. Now let's move on and look at the paper and how the paper gets connected with the syllabus. Now, I've just given you an investigation of the paper, 3 questions, 1 in section A and 2 in section B. And I've just given you an overview of the syllabus from syllabus area A to syllabus area G. And I've just emphasized on that syllabus area D and E is the core syllabus area. Now let's see how the syllabus gets connected with the paper. Syllabus versus the paper. Now listen to this very, very carefully. If you want to prepare yourself in a good manner, you want to set a very good timetable of how you should be preparing for September or December exams, this particular slide in front of your screens would be helpful. And don't worry, the slides will be shared with you on the portal, and everything I will be writing on the screen will be shared with you on the portal, so you can take a printout later. Just concentrate with a pen and paper currently. Section A of the paper, where you have 40 technical marks and 10 professional marks. Question number 1. Section A, syllabus area D, planning and audit of historical financial statement, will only be tested in question 1. So syllabus area D, which is about planning and the audit of the historical financial statement, will only be tested in question number 1. I hope you all look at this word very carefully. Only. Only means syllabus area D will not come in section B. Is that clear to all of you? So can you find syllabus area D in section B of the paper? Never. Because it says will only be tested in question 1. And each time you open any past paper and your real exam in December, the section A is developed from the syllabus area D. The significant number of marks in section A are coming from syllabus area D, and I will be emphasizing on that more shortly. Then you come to the section B. In section B, we have 2 questions, right? Question number 2 and question number 3. Question 2 and 3 each have 20 technical marks and 5 professional marks each. In section B, what will happen? Syllabus area E, completion, review, and reporting. And syllabus area F, other assignments, will only be tested in question 2 and 3. Again, look at this word only. So can you find syllabus area E and F in section A? No. So can you find a question in section A which touch the syllabus area E and F? Never. So section B, there are 2 syllabus areas which are extremely important for section B, because examining team is saying will only be tested in question 2 and 3. So E and F becomes important. So technically, which 3 syllabus areas are important? D, E, and F. And you know the D and E is the one which needs the SBR knowledge, right? And F is a syllabus area which is about other assignments, which is one of another core area of the AAA paper, because you don't do other assignments in the AA paper or the F8 paper. And all of you will be doing it for the first time. It's a pretty simple syllabus area, easy to understand based upon your knowledge coming from syllabus area A, B, C, D, E. So is everyone clear so far, so forth? Section A, syllabus area D, section B, syllabus area E and F. One of the question in section B is must to come from E. E can never be omitted. D can never be omitted. D can never be omitted. D is must. So you will never find a section A question without D. You will never find a section B without E. F is like regular, but you can see omission of F in some exam settings. So it's not every time in March, June, September, December that you see something from F. Yes, F come very regular. It could be 2 out of 4 exam settings. It could be 3 out of 4 exam settings, but it is not 4 out of 4 exam settings. So it is a regular area, right? But syllabus area E is in every single exam setting. Syllabus area D is in every single exam setting. So that means syllabus area D and E again becoming important because they are mandatory. They also involve the SPR knowledge, and you cannot survive the AAA paper if you are weak on syllabus area D and E, because one question from E, one question from D is a must. F sometime comes, sometime don't come. Is everyone clear so far, so forth in D, E, F? And is everyone clear with A and B? Any problems, any confusions with it? So when you're studying the syllabus, will you give importance to D and E? Will you give good amount of time to D and E? Right? So ensure that you are giving a good amount of time to D and E and even F, because F is like regular, but sometimes you do see omission of F. You have to go in the order. I'll just come to that, Renal. So there are lots of questions the students are asking and the answers of which are ahead. So that's the reason I'm not answering them. Okay, now looking at what else is in the syllabus. Syllabus area A, syllabus area B, and syllabus area C. This should be quality management. This word has changed. So it should be quality management, not quality control, because that is a change of term we are looking for since September 22. There's a typing mistake here. Should be quality management, not quality control. Syllabus area A, B, C can be tested anywhere in the paper. So you can find them in A, you can find them in B. So there is no positioning for A, B, C. There is a positioning for D, there is a positioning for E, there is a positioning for F. But A, B, C, they are flexible. An examiner can use them anywhere across the paper. A, B, C. We have seen so many instances in the past paper where syllabus area B has come in section A as well as in section B. We have seen so many past papers where quality management and practice management was in the section A as well as in the section B, and sometime only in section B, not in section A. And same goes with the regulatory environment. So many instances where regulatory environment is in A and B both, and sometime only in B, not in A. So they're flexible syllabus areas. I hope you're getting clarity on that. And then comes the last one, syllabus area G, current issues. Only examine when an article is written on it. Is that clear to all of you? So we'll keep a watch on it for September exams. We'll keep a watch on it for December exams. And if there is any development on a current issue, apart from the one which is already available on the portal on climatical risk, I will keep updating you in the WhatsApp group. So we'll keep monitoring any current issues till the first week of August for September exams, and current issues till the first week of November for the December exams. So current issues are only examinable when there is a support from the examining team. Now, is everyone clear how the 6 syllabus areas will be examined, A, B, C, D, E, F, and which are important? Where is the SPR knowledge? In which syllabus areas you need the SPR knowledge? So D and E is the integral part of the AAA, number 1. F is a very regular part of the AAA. You should know what is in section A, you should know what is in section B, and then you should know the ABC is like the flexible part of the syllabus. And again, this word control should be replaced with management. So once I put the slides on the portal, I will replace it with management. Currently, there is a typing mistake. So I'm just ensuring that in the recording of this live orientation, you get this message in the recording that the word has to be management, not control. Okay, now that's the syllabus versus the paper. Now, honestly, tell me, does it seems like a very organized paper in terms of how the syllabus gets split into section A and B? Is it like very organized paper? When you look at the past papers, you know, section A is D, section B is E, F might come, might not come, and A, B, C are flexible. Will that help you devise your approach, how much time you should give to A, B, C, and how much time you should give to D, E, F? So it is a very structured paper, right? It is a very organized paper. But the problem is it's a challenging paper because the passing rates are low. And we need to investigate today why the passing rates are low, because that will help you. Okay, now moving on from the syllabus versus the paper analysis, let's take a quick look inside section A, which is 40 technical marks and 10 professional marks. And we've already decided that the major chunk of section A is syllabus area D. So let's critically investigate what else can come in section A besides the syllabus area D. Overview of the question number 1, section A. Set at the planning stage of the audit with 40 technical and 10 professional marks. So the question number 1 is set at the planning stage of the audit. And because it's set at the planning stage of the audit, so syllabus area D becomes very important, because the syllabus area D is planning and the audit of the historical financial statement. You know, the audit starts with planning. That's fundamentally the first stage of the audit cycle, planning the audit. So the question number 1, when you start the paper starts in the logical order, and it starts with the planning stage of the audit every time. The bulk of the 40 technical marks are utilized for risk assessment, which you already have done in the AA paper as well. But in the AAA paper, the risk assessment are of 3 types: business risk, audit risk, and the risk of material misstatement, which is mandatory part of the question number 1. So bulk of the 40 marks, sometime 20, sometime 25, of the total 40 marks are put on risk. Business risk never comes alone. So anytime you get a question on business risk, in the second part, you will find a question on audit risk or risk of material misstatement. Yes, questions on audit risk and risk of material misstatement can come alone. But every time the examiner asks you business risk, so it will be question number 1A, business risk, question number 1B, audit risk and ROM. But audit risk and ROM can come as individual questions without business risk. Right? So in the question number 1, you might have parts, right? A, B, C, D. So the first 2 parts logically are put on risk. One of them can be on business risk, the other can be on audit risk, or one of the part can be on risk and the other parts can be on other syllabus areas. But risk takes like 50%, 50 to 60% of the total 40 marks. I hope you're clear on that, right? So the bulk of the marks goes on risk. And mostly we have the question number 1 split into 4 requirements, mostly 4. Right, now moving on and investigating the question 1 further, the other examinable topics in question number 1 includes more consistently or regularly featured are. What else is a regular feature of the question number 1 besides substantial marks going on risk? Ethical issues, which is primarily the syllabus area B. Matters in planning the first year audit, which is again syllabus area D. Evaluating the component auditor strategy, which is again syllabus area D, planning. Matters in accepting the new audit client or an additional engagement from an existing client, which is the syllabus area C. Audit procedures, which is again the syllabus area D. Knowledge areas like money laundering, responsibility of the auditor for laws and regulations, and using the work of others or joint audit, which is the syllabus area A. See, we said that A, B, C are flexible. So A, B, C are flexible. You can find instances of A, B, C on your screen, even in section A. You can find B, C, A. But risk part here is the D. And then you can see so much D coming here as well. So D is the substantial hold of the question number 1. Is everyone clear? Now, once you start the syllabus and once you come to this block 3 where you find the syllabus area D and you go through the syllabus area D, I hope this particular slide will be of interest to you, how things comes in the question number 1. So this is just a summary of how a question 1 looks in most cases in the AAA paper. Now, moving from this to the section B of the paper, where we have 2 questions, 2 and 3. And we know one of them is from syllabus area E for sure, right? Section B, deep investigation, consists of 2 questions. One of them is set at the completion and reporting stage, and this is a must. Syllabus area E. I hope you're clear on that, right? E cannot be omitted, just like D cannot be omitted. So one of the 2 questions in section B has to be from completion and reporting, which is basically the syllabus area E. The question at the completion and reporting stage, which is the syllabus area E, cannot just purely be a reporting question. It could include element of completion stage activities as well. Look at this, completion and reporting, syllabus area E. So a lot of time the student thinks that the one of the question will be on reporting. No, it could be on completion plus reporting, or it could alone be on reporting. So it's up to the examiner whether the examining team wants to give you a whole question on reporting or a question which includes completion and reporting. Sometimes we have seen very less marks on reporting, like 15 marks on completion and 5 marks on reporting out of the 20 technical marks. Sometimes we even seen a whole 20 marks on reporting and no marks on completion. Sometimes we have seen all the 20 marks on completion and no marks on reporting. So these are all possibilities, right? But just imagining that the question one of the question in section B will be reporting, that is very wrong. So it is completion and reporting. So once you go over my course on the portal, you will understand what completion is. and what sort of questions can come on completion in the AAA paper. Is everyone clear with this completion and reporting so far? So I can move on to the next bullet. Okay, great. So let's move on. Students normally assume this question to be purely based on audit report knowledge, which is wrong. I've just made that clear, right? Because just assuming a report will come and nothing else will come, you need to understand it is completion and reporting. So both can come. This question is set at the completion stage. The question number 1 is set at the planning stage, right? This question, which could be either 2, either 3, we're not sure of that, but one of the question has to be on completion and reporting. It could be question number 2, it could be question number 3. This question is set at the completion stage. An examiner mentioned in the opening paragraph of the case study, which you will be reading, the audit report is to be signed next week. So you will immediately click, oh, this is a completion stage question, or audit is nearing completion, or the manager is performing a review of the working paper, or an engagement quality review is being performed. These are indications that the question is set at the completion and reporting stage. So when you read the opening paragraph, there could be a sentence like such, which gives you an indication that this is a completion and reporting stage question. And also by looking at the requirement, you become very clear that this is a completion and reporting stage question. When you read the question number 1, in the question number 1, it is set at the planning stage. So examiner is saying, you are planning the upcoming audit, or you are about to start the audit. You are about to start the planning for the upcoming audit. So that you immediately recall, oh, this is a planning stage question. So the opening paragraphs in the case study sets the tone at which stage of the audit the question is set in. So one of the question in section B will be from syllabus area E, and you should be very strong as a student in syllabus area E. And again, you need the SBR knowledge, accounting knowledge in this question. Moving on further. The question at the completion stage of the audit is as follow. Completion stage and the reporting stage together, right? So the question set at the completion and the reporting stage is as follow. Number 1, evaluating the accounting matters and explaining the evidence in the working paper file. That's one of the questions. Evaluating the sufficiency and appropriateness of the evidence gathered by the audit team and recommend further procedures. Number 3, evaluating the going concern matters, something coming from the AA knowledge, procedures on going concern, and the implication for the audit report. Number 4, evaluating the matters to be communicated to those charged with governance. Number 5, evaluating the accounting treatment and the implication of the uncorrected accounting treatments on the audit report. Critical appraisal of the audit report, finding the weaknesses in the audit report. Number 6. Number 7, auditor responsibility for other information in the annual report and how auditor address the responsibility for other information in the audit report. These are 7 possible questions, which are very regular feature of section B. A lot of time you must have seen the word accounting matters, which is where you need the SPR knowledge. So a question at the completion and reporting stage can take possible forms which are currently on your screen, and a lot of those questions requires the accounting knowledge. So you will understand these 7 possible questions definitely when you have done the syllabus and you have taken strong control of the syllabus, and then you can revisit back my presentation slides to know that have I done each of the 7 questions? Have I found each of the 7 questions in my practice of the past papers? So you can use it as a checklist at the end of your preparations. So this is how one of the question comes into the section B, which is from syllabus area E. Now the next one, the other question, which could be 2 or 3, depending upon where the examiner is putting the question from completion and reporting, either in 2 or in 3. The other question left in section B is open, and any syllabus area from A, B, C, and F can be examined here. D and E can't be examined here as they have their specific allocations. I hope you're clear with this now. D and E have their specific allocations, right? You know, D comes in question number 1, E comes in one of the section B. We're talking about another question in section B, which is open, and anything from ABC or anything from F. We know F is very consistent. F is very regular with the other question. So the other question, the top candidate is F. 3 out of 4 exam settings, F is the top candidate for the other question. But in 1 out of 4 exam settings, ABC is the very top contender for the other question. Most frequently tested topics in this section B question includes evaluating the quality management, professional and ethical matters. So that's from the syllabus area B and C. Question on other assignments focused on procedures, matters in accepting engagement, ethical issues and specific inquiries. So that's from syllabus area F, and money laundering, that's from syllabus area A. So I've given you examples from A, F, B, C, which have been tested in the recent past papers. So is everyone sound and clear on structure of A, section A, syllabus area D, likely topics? And is everyone clear with section B, likely topics, which is must, which is mandatory, and how one of the question will be set at completion and reporting stage, and how the other question is being kept open? Okay, that's great. Now moving on and looking at how the AAA syllabus A, B, C, D, E, F, G is connected with my course. Now, when you look at my course on the portal and you look at the syllabus of AAA, I have divided my course into 4 blocks when you see the portal. Block 1 consists of the syllabus area A, regulatory environment. Block 2 consists of 2 syllabus areas, B and C, which is ethical, professional, quality management, and practice management. Block 3 consists of syllabus area D and E, both of which are important, which is where you need the SBR knowledge. And I'll tell you how would you revise the SBR knowledge shortly. But D and E is the core part, right? So block 3 becomes very core. Then in the block 4, you look at the syllabus area F, which is again a very regular feature of the section B question. So every block you are doing, you should have an orientation. You should have an observation how this block contributes to 100 marks paper. So this block contributes very heavily. This block contributes very heavily to 100 marks paper. The other blocks do contribute, but that's like on a minor basis. So is everyone clear how the syllabus is structured on the portal? 1, 2, 3, 4. And is everyone clear how the 1, 2, 3, 4 is connected with the syllabus? And can you now identify which of the blocks are important? And I believe 50% of your total time, 50% of the time should go here, and the rest 50 should go on 1 to 4. So half the time should be spent on block 3, and the remaining half the time should be split into 1 to 4, which should not take much time. 1 to 4 are comparatively easier to go through. 3 takes a lot of time because you also need to revise your accounting standards. Okay, that's my tutor course. Okay, now course on the portal. When you log into the portal with your passwords, your user email and passwords, and you look at the course on the portal, how you should use it. Now, when you look at the course on the portal is divided into 11 chapters, meaning 11 sections, namely. I hope you've seen the portal by now. And there are 11 chapters, which includes the orientation as well. And those 11 chapter means the 11 segregations of the syllabus, or 11 sections of the syllabus. Let's see what they are. The first section is orientation, where this orientation will be uploaded shortly. Then you have block 1, then you have block 2, block 3, block 4. Then you have current issues, which includes the climatical risk, so far, so forth. If there is any change in current issues, I'll update you. Then if you want to take further guidance on professional marks, a separate guidance on professional marks after completing the course in logical order, there is a section on professional marks. Then the December 22 webinar, which is an exclusive webinar, not available to public, only to my registered students. Then there is a December 22 mock debrief as an additional practice and support, March 23 webinar, and the June 23 mock debrief. This is all practice. This is all practice, right? So look at the last 4 elements. You have dense practice of the recent papers here. And you will also, I will also be uploading the September 23 mock debrief for the September students. And I will also be uploading the December 23 mock debrief for the December student once that is available from ACCA. So this list will continue. So for the September students, you will also see another chapter coming in, the 12th chapter, which is the September 23 mock. And for the December student, you will see not just the September mock, you will also see the December mock. So 2 more chapters will be added for you, chapter number 12 and chapter number 13. But this is the order in which the portal has been designed by me as a tutor. Have you seen this order on the portal, all of you? Now, how to use it? Should you go in the sequence? Should you break the sequence? Now I'm coming to that frequently asked question. Should you maintain the sequence? How should you go with these 11 chapters? Okay, now this is how these things are on the portal. For regulatory environment, the block 1, you have total of 9 lectures with 18 hours. For block 2, which is syllabus area B and C, you have total of 9 lectures with 19 hours. Then you have the syllabus area D and E under block 3. You have 14 lectures of 36 hours. And I just told you 50% of your time should go here. Other assignments, block 4, 7 lectures and 17 hours. Current issue, only 1 lecture, 1 hour. Professional marks, 6 lectures of 3 hours. December webinar, 5 lectures of 12 hours. Mock, 1 lecture, 1 hour. And then you can see the March webinar, 8 lectures of 12 hours. And then you can see the June mock, 4 lectures, 6.5 hours. Look at the last 4 areas here. This 12 and 12 is 24 and 6 is 30 and 31, approximately 32 hours of dense practice. A lot of time the student asks, does your course includes practice? 32 hours of dense practice separately. And even when you are watching block 1, there is a practice in it. Block 2, there is a practice in it. Block 3, there is a practice in it. Block 4, there is a practice in it. So every block has its own practice. But apart from that, there is a separate 32 hours of practice, which will be a mind opener for all of you. So every block you are doing, you should know the number of lectures and hours so you can plan your studies effectively. And you should know what is the total number of hours. You can just make a sum up of this to know how much is the total number of hours on the portal and how much is the total number of lectures on the portal. I hope this summary would help you. You can take a printout of this particular slide, and whichever area you have done, you can just put a tick mark. Regulatory environment, 9 lectures done, tick mark. Ethical issues, 9 lectures done, tick mark. So you can just use it as a checklist of your course coverage and what percentage of course have you completed. Is that clear to all of you? And I've put core for block 2, 3, 4. So block 2, 3, 4 is very, very critical when you are going with the AAA paper. So can this slide number 24 on your screen be used as a checklist of your course coverage? How much course have been completed? Can you take a printout of this and put somewhere on your reading table, on your reading desk? And can you just evaluate every week, every 10 days, every fortnightly, where are you standing? So you should check your progress every week, every Sunday check your progress. See, where are you standing every Sunday? How much percentage of the course have you completed by looking at this checklist? Now, how to go? Should you go in the order? What is the recommended way of going over so many lectures and so many hours? Let's find the answer for that now. Order of the course. Can you see this flow chart in front of your screen? Order of the course, orientation, first order. After the orientation, block 1, then the block 2. I have made block 3 red, and there is a note. There is a note here for block 3. In each block, the sequence will be followed except for block 3. So in block 1, you will follow the sequence, in which sequence the lectures are given. In block 2, you will follow the sequence of the lectures given. In block 3, there is some there is some different sequence, which I will just be guiding you. But after the block 1, you do the block 2. Then after the block 2, you do the block 3. But within the block 3, in which sequence will you do the lectures? I'll just be guiding you that. Then block 4 in sequence. Then after the block 4, the current issue. After the current issues, the webinars and the mock debrief. And after you've done the mock debriefs and webinars, lastly, the last thing you will do before exams is professional marks. You will understand them better. If you do them now, you will not understand. You will understand the professional marks only after you have done the webinars and mock debrief. Is that clear to all of you? So the last thing you will watch is the professional marks, right? And the first thing you will watch is the orientation. And then you go in the order, block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, current issues, and the webinars. Is this flowchart clear? Can you take a printout of this as well and put on your reading tables and on your study desks? Right? So when you get into block 1, go in the order. Block 2, go in the order. Block 3, some change of order. I'll guide you. Now let's go one by one in each one of them. Firstly, you go in the block 1, go in sequence and complete all lectures. So go in the sequence, right? And complete all lectures. Then you get to the block 2, go in sequence and complete all lectures. After you have completed all lectures of the block 2, jump to, can you see this word jump to? Jump to December 22 webinar, day 3. You know there are webinars given on the portal, right? So you go to the December 22 webinar on the portal and you go to the day 3 of the webinar for additional practice on quality management. So after you have completed all lectures of block 2, you will jump to the day 3 of the December 22 webinar for an additional practice on quality management. That will mark the end of the block 2. Is everyone clear with the jump to? Any problems with the jump to? Are you clear with how you should go down in block 2, all of you? And please ensure you take a printout of all this, right? Next, block 3, where you have to do lots of jumps. Block 3, the most difficult, the most technical, most of the time will go here. You need to take a printout of this block 3 and put on your reading tables because block 3 has a very different sequence to follow. You need to complete all lectures of block 3 by there is some distortion in order, which you need to follow for lecture 4 and lecture 5 only. Rest all lectures will be done in order. So lecture 1 in order, lecture 2 in order. For block 3, lecture 3 in order, lecture 4. There is some distortion to follow for lecture 4 and lecture 5. So the moment you come to lecture 4, there is some distortion here. Then you get to lecture 5, there is some distortion here. Then in order, lecture 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever they are, go in order. So only problem will come when you get to the lecture 4 and 5. Rest all has to be done in order. Is that clear to all of you? And I'll just tell you what is the distortion in lecture 4 and 5. So follow the order in block 3, but for lecture 4 and lecture 5, there is some distortion. And I will guide you the reason for distortion and what is the distortion. Rest all lectures will be done in order. I hope you're clear. The distortion of order for lecture 4 and lecture 5, as illustrated in the next slide, is due to some changes in the way the topic is now examined and further practice. These changes were brought by the examining team from September 22. September 22 exams, there were some changes. So I incorporated those changes in my lecture 4 and lecture 5, which was recorded before the September 22, through some distortions. Now, September 23 students and December 23 students, when you watch lecture 4, you need to go with some distortions, and those are on the next slides. But those distortions would help you to be up to date with additional practice, and those distortions will help you to be up to date with how things are changed from September 22 exams. So is that clear, the reason of distortion? So reason of distortion is to implement the change which came from September 22, and reason for distortion is to give you further practice for lecture number 4 and 5. And what are lecture 4 and 5? Risk. And you know, risk is the most critical part. It is like 50% marks, 50% marks in the question number 1. So you know the importance of lecture 4 and 5. Lecture 4 and 5 is on risk, business risk, audit risk, and ROM. And that's where the distortion has to come in. Let's see what is the distortion. Follow the sequence on your screen. Look at the arrows. In block 3, you will first start with lecture 1, then lecture 2, then lecture 3. Complete the first 3 lectures in the order. Then you come to the lecture 4 and the distortion starts. You will first watch the lecture 4. And after you've watched the lecture 4, you will then jump to December 22 webinar day 1. Then you will jump to December 22 webinar day 2. Then you will jump to December 22 mock day 1. Then you will jump to March 23 webinar day 2 for additional practice and changes which have come since September 22. Then you will jump to March 23 webinar day 4. Then you will jump to March 23 mock day 1. Then June 23 mock orientation. And then June 23 mock day 2. And then finally you come to the addendum to lecture 4 block 3, which is on the portal. So after you watch the lecture 4 on the portal, block 3, you will move to these webinars, mock, webinars, mock. They're given, right? You know where they are on the portal, right? And then you finally come back to the addendum to lecture 4, block 3. And the titles you're looking here is exactly the same titles on the portal, right? So you will have no difficulties in finding them. Now, after this long distortion of lecture 4, you finally come to lecture 5. So see, from lecture 4, you have to take a lot of distortion, but that distortion will really be helpful to give you the right mindset for September 23 and December 23 exams and the practice. Lots of practice. Webinar and mock means practice. And you need practice, right, for risk, because risk is the core area to pass in the AAA paper. And then you come to the lecture 5, some distortions for lecture 5 as well. After you watch the lecture 5, you will go to the addendum to lecture 5 block 3. And after you finish off with the addendum to lecture 5 block 3, you will go to December 22 webinar day 1. You will then go to March 23 webinar day 3. You will then go to the March 23 mock day 1. And after completing all that, you come back to the lecture number 6, and you will go in the order for lecture 6 to lecture 11. No further distortion. And that marks the end of the block 3. 50% of your total time should be on the block 3. Please look at the picture in front of your screen and ensure you take a printout of this. And once you come to the block 3, follow the order. Will you follow this order? Will this printout help you follow this order? Will you ensure that after the lecture 4, the diversions you need to take? Are you clear with the diversions you need to take after lecture 5? And from lecture 6 onwards, there is no diversion. But these diversions will set the right tone of how you should be preparing for September 23 and December 23. And the best part is the diversion from lecture 4, which is audit risk and ROM. The lecture 4 is about audit risk. And the lecture 4 is about the risk of material misstatement. And the lecture 5 is about business risk. So the diversions you are taking is giving you practice, right? And the practice is making you perfect. After the diversions and you've completed the block 3, you will be so good on the practice of audit risk and ROM, and you will be so good on the practice of business risk, which are 2 core areas. Is that clear? Will you be taking a printout of the order you need to maintain in block 3? Then after the block 3, you go to the block 4. In block 4, after completing the block 3 in the order shown in the previous slide, jump to the following additional practice around block 3. Now, have you seen how to do the block 3 on the previous slide this way? Is everyone clear with this? So this is how you do the block 3. Now, after you've done the block 3 and look at the red says block 3 ends. Now, when the block 3 ends, what next to do? You are not jumping to block 4. After the block 3 ends, you need to do further practice of the whole block 3 because block 3 is crucial. So after completing the block 3 in the order shown in the previous slide, slide number 29, jump to the following additional practice around block 3. March 23 webinar day 6 for additional practice on audit evidence and reporting. Syllabus area E, right, which is part of block 3. Then March 23 mock debrief session number 2 for additional practice on audit evidence and report. Then June 23 mock debrief day 4 for additional practice on audit evidence and report. So 3 further practice materials for you on evidence and reporting. So look at these 3 here, evidence and reporting. So you will get further support on evidence. You get further support on reporting, such a core area for syllabus area E. And you know, syllabus area E is very important. So after you complete the block 3, as shown on slide 29, you will do these 3 additional webinars and mocks so that you get good amount of practice on evidence and reporting. Is that clear to all of you? Great. And the diversions, the diversions you saw on the previous slide here for lecture 4 and lecture 5. So lecture 4 is audit risk and ROM, and the diversion is giving you practice and the changes in since September 22. And the lecture 5 is business risk, and the diversions is giving you practice and the changes in business risk from September 22. Right? So please take printout of the slides and keep it on your work table or a desk where you study or in a file. Okay, then block 4. Block 4 is simple. Complete all lectures in sequence, just like block 1 and 2. No diversions in block 4. No diversions in block 1 and 2. The only diversions is in the block 3. After you complete all lectures in sequence in block 4, jump to December 22 webinar day 4 for additional practice. March 23 day 5 webinar for additional practice. June 23 mock day 3 for additional practice. So you get additional practice, additional practice, additional practice after you've completed the lectures in sequence, and the practice makes you perfect. Practice makes you successful. Is that clear how to go with block 4? So will you keep the printout of block 1, 2, 3, 4 with you on the table or in a file so you know in which order to go with? A lot of time I find WhatsApp messages, which order, which sequence, how to do. I think this orientation is helping you out with that, right? So I believe those WhatsApp messages will disappear now for the next few months. Yes, please take a printout of the orientation slide for sure and keep that in file. It's a checklist to check the progress, to check how much course has been completed, because a lot of time the student asks where we should be after a month. You should evaluate yourself where you are standing after a month, right? Okay, now finally, down with course completion. By when you should complete the course? That's a big question. Now, to me, this is what I suggest. For September 23 students and for December 23 students. If you are a September 23 student, because the orientation is for both, for September 23 students first, complete the course till 16th August. Yes, there could be plus 3-4 days. You might complete it by 20th, even that is fine. Don't delay beyond 20th. So take a timeline. You are standing on the 18th of June today, right? So even if you manage to complete by 18th of August, that's 2 months. So you have 2 months from now to complete course. Now make a timetable. Look at number of lectures in block 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the total number of lectures you need to watch and see whether you study on every day. Are you a full-time student? Are you a part-time student? Are you engaged with a job and you only get times on Saturdays and Sundays? So everyone knows the limitations and the challenges you have every 24 hours of every day you're spending. So knowing your challenges, knowing your limitations, knowing your constraints, make a timetable today for the next 2 months. See how much time can you give on a weekly basis over the next 2 months so that you effectively complete the order of the course I just guided you by the 18th of August, right? Zohaib, I'm just coming back to your question. Just give me a few minutes. Next, plan for an extensive past paper practice from 17th August. So if you complete on 16th, from the 17th, you will do extensive past paper practice. You must have done a lot of practice in block 1 with my course, block 2 with my course, block 3 with my course, block 4 with my course. But after you've completed everything, you should do additional practice. You should do practice of the recent papers on the platform. I hope you know the practice platform, right? And on the practice platform, they've given you the recent papers from December 20 onwards. So start doing additional practice from December 20 onwards. And I think there are recent 5 papers, recent 6 papers, 1 paper for 20, 2 papers for 21, 2 papers for 22. So this is a total of 5 recent papers they have up to December 22. Currently, no paper has been uploaded for 23 till the time I'm doing this orientation. Quite be possible that in next few weeks, you get the 23 paper uploaded as well. But currently, there are 5 recent papers available which you should practice after completing the whole course. You should enjoy doing these papers once you have the command on A, B, C, D, E, F. You will not be attempting the paper nicely if you have not completed the full course. So I will prefer that the 5 recent papers are done once you have completed the whole syllabus. And that should be after the 17th of August. Prepare for an extensive past paper practice. I hope you're clear with this, all of you. The next, plan to do the mock on the 1st of September, which ACCA will publish by the mid of August. So plan to do it on the 1st of September. And you have the paper on the 4th of September. I think that's the Monday. That's the first Monday of September. Watch the mock debrief, which I will be doing after the mock to self-evaluate your mock answer. So suppose you do the mock on 1st, then on the 2nd, watch my debrief, watch my video, play my video. Even you can play it at a speed of 1.5 and just keep your mock answer with you and watch my debrief and see what corrections needs to be done in. So you can self-evaluate your mock by the debrief session. Last date to submit assignments for review is 26th August. So any assignments you want to submit me and you want my feedback on the assignments, you know my email ID for that, AAAmock@gmail.com, which I've given you at the start of the session. You can submit assignments till 26th. Any assignments after 26th will not be marked, will not be checked. So this is for September students. For December students, you have plenty of time from now. Complete the course till 16th of November. So that means you psychologically have 4 months to do that from today. Plan for extensive past paper practice from 17th November onwards. Plan to do the mock on the 1st of December. Watch the mock debrief by the tutor after the mock to self-evaluate your mock answers. And the last date for you to submit the assignments is 26th of November. I will not mark the mock. I will do a debrief, and the debrief will help you evaluate your mock, right? So September and December students, are you clear with the column on the left and the column on the right? Are there any December students in the orientation today? And I believe September students are more. But September and December students, are you looking at the timelines? There can be +2, +3, right? So these are not definite timelines. You can have an incremental impact on them, but try to be close. Try to be close to these deadlines as much as possible. So that's another frequently asked question, when to finish off the course. Okay, just one thing. There was a question coming from one student, which I could answer now. There was a question from Zohaib. Sir, if I'm giving ATX2 in September, and I'm a full-time student, the same deadlines is good? Yes. If you're a full-time student, then same deadlines are good. Okay, important instructions. It is must to read all articles recommended by the tutor in the pre-recorded lecture. So when you watch my pre-recorded lecture and I tell you in a pre-recorded lecture that read this article, then please read it. It is must to read articles. Books, no. Articles must. It is must to read all articles recommended by the tutor in the pre-recorded lecture. I would prefer no kits, no books, past papers, only past papers and articles. That's it. So no need to invest in a book and a kit. Shaksham. Is this clear, reading of articles to all of you? So will you be reading the recommending articles and making your notes? Just skim over the articles. No need to read them like as if you're rote learning the article. Just skim the articles, read around them. No need of a rote learning. Make notes while reading the articles, and these notes will supplement your lecture notes from the given lecture. So my lecture notes and your notes prepared from articles will go together, right? So suppose you are watching my lecture and I recommended you to read an article, and that is, for example, a lecture 5 of block 1. So in the lecture 5 block 1, my support files is the notes, and the additional is the notes you're making from the article, right? It's important to read articles, please. No book readings, but articles are must. You cannot skip the articles. No student will ask me a question, can I skip the articles? It is must to read them. Kits are not required. Please, past papers which are available on the Google Drive, and the recent past papers available on the practice platform. That is it. Has everyone got the clear message on reading articles? No student will ask me a few weeks later, can I skip articles? You cannot skip articles. You can skip book. Submit assignments. You can submit me the assignments up to the 26th of September for the September students, 26th of August for the September students and 26th of November for the December students. You can submit me assignments at the dedicated email ID AAA@gmail.com. You will get a personalized feedback and expect 2 to 3 days response time on these assignments submitted. It could be lesser than that, but the maximum is 2 to 3 days. And I'll start checking the assignments from tomorrow, Monday. If you have emailed me any assignments previously, please email me back with the subject September 23 or with the subject December 23. And then you write this. Suppose you're doing an assignment on money laundering, then write September 23 student underscore money laundering, September 23 student underscore auditor liability, or December 23 student underscore money laundering, and in the subject. So every time you email me, mention which session student you are in the subject, so I can prioritize the emails accordingly. I can prioritize the September emails over December. At least I can respond to September emails in like 2 days and December emails in like 3 days. So at least you get benefit of that. Okay, passing rates and the failures in AAA, how to overcome the failures. Yes, I'll be coming to the accounting knowledge after completing the orientation, to just wait for that. So I have a separate 10 minutes on accounting knowledge. Pass rates and overcoming failure. You know, the passing rates in AAA are low and one of the lowest and among all strategic optional paper, ATX, AFM, APM. You have the lowest in AAA. You can see that in front of your screen. From March 22 to March 23, the last 5 exam settings, on average, you know, 33% students pass the AAA paper and 67% fail. It is such a standardized paper, such an organized paper, such a well structured paper, section A, section B. You know which syllabus areas will come in. Lots of knowledge coming from AA, SBR. Students are still failing. That means there is some problem with the way you're writing the answer. Now, once you take my course and once you watch the webinars and the mock debriefs, which is very essential in block 3 and block 4, you've seen so much. You've seen in the sequence that you have to watch the debriefs and the webinars, additional practice. That additional practice will make you confident about how to write a good answer. The more assignments you submit, the more feedback you get from the tutor on your assignments, you will be among this. You will be in among this students who pass. If you're not submitting assignments, you're not practicing, you're not bothered about practicing the past papers, you're not even bothered about practicing the recent 5 papers in the last 10 to 12 days ahead of your exams, you're not bothered about doing the mock paper, you're just reading the books, you're just reading the articles, technical content alone is a disaster. AAA is a conceptual paper, is a case study paper. It's a paper where you need to get involved in the case study, get things out of the case study. There is no generic writing. There is no generic way of writing the AAA paper. Everything has to be case oriented. Everything has to be adapted according to the case study, according to the requirements of the examiner. If any student synchronized the answer with the case, if any student blend the answer with the case, you understand the requirement, what to do, and according to that, you blend your answer with the case study, you will pass. But if you're writing generic, you have rote learn the articles, you have rote learn the BPP book, you've rote learned the Kaplan book. Alone, the technical knowledge is no success in the AAA paper. It's the application, it's the adaptation of the knowledge. So AAA is not a rote learn paper, right? If any student is thinking about rote learning, no, this is not a rote learn paper. This is a case study paper. You are a manager in the AAA paper. You have to take decisions like a manager. You have to write an answer like a manager. You are interacting with your partner. Every question will start, you are a manager. So try to understand your role, try to understand your position, try to do justice with that in context of the case study. And this is all what you will learn from my lectures on the portal. So at the end of the day, when you do the practice of the recent 5 papers at the end of the, before your exams, you will really get that role of a manager because you've taken my course. So this is some investigation why students fail in, and I will be doing a separate session on failures. I will be doing a separate session on how you can improve the chance of success. But in the orientation, I'm not touching upon them. I hope you got a summary, which I was just discussing with you when I'm looking at a 33% pass rate. I've done some sessions on YouTube, which you can watch in the meantime. You can see these hyperlinks. I will share these hyperlinks in the WhatsApp group as well for your ease. Analyzing failure in AAA paper and downtrends in pass rates. These are 2 good sessions which help you investigate why students fail in the AAA paper. And I can share these hyperlinks with you even in the WhatsApp group as well for your ease to click and watch them. But I will be doing another very exclusive session in the next couple of days on failures in AAA and on time management, because these are 2 crucial areas which needs further investigation apart from orientation. Top reasons for failing: poor time management, and I'll be doing a session on that shortly. Not reading the requirement carefully. I will be covering this in my reasons of failure already, the YouTube videos I've mentioned. Not linking answers to case, I've already covered this in my recent YouTube videos I've shared with you. And weak in financial reporting knowledge. And I'm just coming to this because that's where I need to talk about how SBR contributes. Just give me 5 minutes and I'll come to that weak in financial reporting knowledge, because I need to give 20 good minutes on SBR in my orientation today. Lisa Weaver, she's your examiner. She heads the examining team and she has some suggestions for how you can pass the AAA paper. I'm giving myself a pause for 2 minutes, and I just want you to read what's coming in the screen in front of you, because you need to be successful in the upcoming exams and you need to understand what your examiner is telling you. So start reading it now, and I'm just muting myself for 2 minutes. Okay, I hope you've all read it. So your examiner wants you to pass the paper, but students are not passing. 33% are passing, 67% is failing. So that means you're not understanding what your examiner wants you to do. She says, I want candidates who choose to attempt this paper, because this is an optional paper, right? You choose in it yourself. And I really get amazed that a student choose to attempt a AAA paper. It's not something forcefully. Then even you're not performing well. Your examiner wants to understand the core components of the syllabus, and that's where you've enrolled in my lectures. You're getting support of a tutor lecture, core components, A, B, C, D, E, F. You're understanding the block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. Understanding, you. No rote learnings. And those understanding should also come from the articles, which I am recommending you to read, plus the lectures, articles and lectures. So are you getting a lot of understanding, all of you, after my course? So I have no issues on you. I have no issues on you understanding and how they will be tested. Obviously, once you do the past papers and once you watch my lectures, I will be telling you for every topic how it gets to the exam paper, how a question comes on money laundering, how a question comes on business risk, how a question comes on audit risk. So how they will be tested. That's equally part of your understanding of the syllabus once you go over the block 1, 2, 3, 4. The next, candidates who have practiced plenty of past exam questions. Number 1, and who have taken time to read around the syllabus. She is not saying read through the syllabus. She is saying read around the syllabus. Books are not recommended. If you go to the BPP book, honestly, BPP book is not a read around philosophy. You have seen how dense the BPP book is. You might get lost in it for the next 2 months. And then you imagine, oh, this is the 18th of August. My exams are just 2 weeks away. Read around, not through, just a summary, just a quick concept building. My lectures and my articles is giving you that. So what is the need of going into the book? Why have you enrolled in a course if you want to read a BPP book? I hope you're getting this. Why have you enrolled in a course if you want to read a book? So if you have enrolled in a course, then watch the course and skip the books. So read around. And who use sensible exam techniques on the day of exams are likely to pass. Sensible exam techniques. And I've covered those sensible exam techniques in my YouTube videos, and I'll be doing separate sessions on that. Time management, sensible exam technique. Linking the answer to the case. Ensuring your answer is synchronized to the case. Ensuring your answer is blended to the case. If you're writing generic, you're failing. Sensible exam techniques to me are 2, time management, and your answer is linked to the case. 2 sensible exam techniques and you pass. Now, I just want to do one analysis here of Lisa Weaver's success formula. She says practice plenty, and I want to also do the analysis on the element of SBR now. So is the formula clear to all of you? Understanding the core components, that is the course you've enrolled for. Practice plenty, I'm just giving you a definition of practice plenty in next 1 minute. Read around the syllabus, no books, only articles, and sensible exam techniques. So just let's go back to my Word file now. Can you all see the Word file on your screen? Can you see a Word file in front of your screen, all of you? Okay, great. Now, whatever I write here, I will be sharing this on the portal as a PDF. So don't be worried about it. Now listen to me very carefully. Lots of questions will get answered. Number 1, let's first look at a success formula, which you all need to follow. The success formula is depending upon understanding of the core components, practice plenty, then read around the syllabus, and lastly, sensible exam techniques. 4 things, right? What the Lisa Weaver was recommending us. Number 1, understanding. Number 2, practice. Number 3, read. And number 4, exam techniques. 4 things, right? Which will make you pass. So let's make them under U, P, and R, and E. So that becomes a mnemonic for us. So success formula is equal to U, P, R, E. Will all of you remember that, U, P, R, E? And it should not be that you're spending the next 2 hours and next 2 days rote learning UPRE. It's about application. It's about implementation of UPRE, which should go in. Let's have a quick word on UPRE and then move on to the SPR. UPRE. Number one, understanding, right? In terms of understanding, you have my syllabus. You need to watch my lectures on portal, plus read all technical articles. So the moment you watch my lectures and read all the technical articles, you're not just getting the U, you're also getting the R. So U and R comes out of my lectures on the portal and then reading all the technical articles, right? So that is plenty of U and R for you. Now, once you've done with U and R, it's about P, practice, and practice of the recent papers, and plenty. How would you do it? Now, I prefer that you do the papers from December 2020 onwards after completing the full course, which is post 18th August 2023 for September 23 students and post 18th November for December 2023 students, right? So you will keep those last papers, good papers, the recent papers, once you have completed the entire course. Second, you can do papers before December 20 because once you're going on with my course, in my course, I would be recommending you do this paper, do this paper, do this paper. So obviously you are doing those papers. Some might be very old, some might be 18, some might be 17, some might be 16, some might be 14. Because in my course, I've tried covering the core papers, which have been very, very important in the history of AAA. So I might be recommending doing 14, 15, 16, 12. So you definitely have to do them. So do the one recommended by tutor in the course. Do the past papers recommended by the tutor in the course coverage, whichever papers they are, and they're all available. Past papers for old questions are available on the Google Drive, and you all have the Google Drive, right, for past papers. So you need to do the recent papers, and when I've given you that, you need to do the tutor told papers during the coverage of the course for block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4 accordingly, and that should be any past papers recommended by the tutor. So do the past papers recommended by the tutor in the course coverage as you move in each block, of lectures from 1 to 4, right? Yes, most of the recent papers, Mrinal, have been covered in the March 23 webinar, December 20 webinar, and the mock debriefs, right? So if you look at my webinars, December 22, March 23, and June 23, definitely in those webinars, recent papers have been done. Not all of them, but plenty of recent papers have been done in those webinars. And I will be doing the recent ones in September 23 as well and December 23. I hope you got the answer, Mrinal. Okay, next. So the recent papers, when you should do the recent papers, is everyone clear on that? After you've completed the whole course, and during the coverage of the course, whatever papers are recommended by the tutors, please ensure you do them, right? Is that clear to all of you? So that's practice plenty. And finally is a sensible exam techniques. Sensible exam techniques. I will be doing separate videos on that. There are 2 sensible exam techniques which is to be followed. No, you need not to watch my old webinars anymore. As a student, you just need to focus on the portal. Everything on the portal has to be followed, not on YouTube, right? Sensible exam techniques. Number 1, time management. I've already had a video on this on my YouTube channel, but I'll be doing an exclusive one for all of you. just for my registered students. And the next sensible exam technique is sync the answer with the case study. And I will be doing a separate video on that, even though that is well guided in my lectures you will be taking. So to me, these are two sensible exam techniques which you can use to get success in the AAA paper, sorry. Is everyone clear with the success formula? Are you clear with UPRE? Are you clear how to go down with this? Everyone? Okay, now let's come to the SBR knowledge. SBR knowledge, accounting knowledge. Let's see how to go about it. Okay, now first of all, when you are revising your accounting knowledge, let's write a note over here. All accounting standards as part of SBR syllabus are examinable in AAA, number one. Number two, I'll be sharing a link for accounting standard revision recommended by ACCA in the WhatsApp group. In the next 24 hours, right? Just wait for it. I'll be sharing a link for the accounting standards revision recommended by ACCA in the WhatsApp group. These are basically the YouTube videos which you can watch to revise a standard. Very short videos. I think maximum stretch of a video is 10 minutes. The minimum is 3 to 4, depending upon which accounting standard you are revising. So that's one source. Further, if a certain accounting standard is not covered in the YouTube videos recommended by ACCA, then you should revise accounting standards from the last chapter of either AAA, Kaplan, or BPP book. In the BPP book and in the Kaplan book for AAA, there is a chapter, last chapter in both books, known as Financial Reporting Revision. So that last chapter is very good. I would not prefer you go to your SPR registers, you go to your SPR books. That's not needed. You need to pick whether the treatment is right or wrong. You just need a surface knowledge. You just need an overview of an accounting standard. You do not need the depth of that you do in SPR. So revising the accounting standard from the last chapter for either the AAA Kaplan or BPP book is recommended. Yes, if you have any short notes you prepared while doing SBR, you can use it to revise the standards as well. So these are multiple ways to revise the standards. I'll be sharing a link. That is one source. The last chapter of the book is one source. Or if you have certain short notes we prepared when you were doing SBR, that's one source. So this is from where the accounting knowledge will come from. Now, just one last thing. Some frequently asked accounting standards. This does not mean that you will only do this list. You should complete all standards, but this is the frequently asked one. So at least you can do them at the first priority. You should complete all the standards. This list is just to give you your first priority. So what should be your first priority for the month of June? So in the month of June, what you should complete? Frequently asked ones. So frequently asked ones includes standards, which is share-based payment. All right, just let's put me the titles. IFRS 2 is very frequently asked. IFRS 3, primarily the goodwill. The goodwill is very frequently asked. Business combination, intercompany balances, or elimination of intercompany balances, goodwill, that is very commonly asked. Investment in associates. Okay, just let me put it like this. Let's first go this way. Investment in associates. How to account it for. How you account for the investment in associate? Number one, the investment in joint venture. How to account for, how to account it for. So how to account for the investment you've done in a joint venture, how to account for an investment in an associate. Then you should know something about goodwill recognition, goodwill impairment, which comes frequently. Then you should know about intercompany balances, elimination of unrealized profit on inventory in the case of the consolidation of a consolidating accounting. Elimination. Okay, this is what you should know for consolidation. Okay, the next is share-based payment, asset held for sale. You should know the accounting treatment, the conditions, right? The conditions when you classify, conditions to classify the asset as held to sale, discontinued operations, and you should know how to make a presentation of the discontinued operations, presentation of the discontinued operations, and the disclosures. Okay, share-based payments, you should know the recognition, how to recognize the share-based payment expense, both equity-based and cash-based. Equity-based and cash-based. You should know the accounting entry, right? How you recognize an equity-based and a cash-based share-based payments. The next, yes, revenue recognition, such an important one. You should know revenue recognition. You should know performance obligation, criteria of performance obligation, because in the exam, you need to judge when the revenue should be recorded, which is pretty easy in AAA paper. But revenue recognition, performance obligation, criteria of performance obligation, because you need to match it in the case study, whether that is fulfilled or not. So that's one thing. Leases comes a lot. Leases in terms of knowing the classifications of the lease. Primarily the leases under 12 months. The leases under 12 months, how to recognize recognition of the leases. Even the sale and lease back. Sale and lease back is a very favorite parameter of examiner. Sale and lease back, you should know the treatment of the sale and lease back, which is very popular among the examiner. That's from the list of, these are more frequently asked, right? This is not an exhaustive list. Okay, then you come back to property, plant, and equipment, useful life. A lot of questions comes on useful life, estimations of useful life. A lot of a question comes around depreciation, initial recognition of a property, plant, and equipment. Cost. Yes, these are more frequently ones, right? Because the whole SPR is in AAA, right? The whole SPR was AAA. But I'm trying to give you the priorities, right, Shaksham? Obviously, I wrote my first statement that the entire SPR syllabus is in AAA for accounting, but these are frequently asked ones where you should be very strong at. And secondly, yes, block 3 should be done after revising the standard. So you should ensure that within the month of June or in the next few weeks, you revise your accounting standards first, right? Okay. Next, the other one, which is like very popular, yes, is provisions. ICE 37 is very popular. ICE 37 is very popular. ICE 38 is one of the favorites of the examiner. ICE 38, ICE 36 impairment is very popular. Sometimes it's very difficult to see a past paper without 36, 37, 38. These are so frequently asked. Impairment is such a favorite parameter of examiner. He loves impairment. Your examiner likes a lot on provisions and contingent liabilities and every such things, asking questions around provisions, contingent liability and contingent assets. So you should be very clear on that side. Examiner is very fond of research and development cost. Research and development cost. So you should know the criteria of research and development. Examiner is very fond of asking something around intangible assets, the amortizations of the intangible assets. That's one of the favorite areas of your examiner. So 36, 37, 38 comes a lot. ICE 40, investment property has come in the recent past papers a lot. So you should know the investment property, the recognition and classification, of that. And I think that is it. That is the frequently asked one on your screen, right? And add just one more to it. Related party transactions, ICE 24, related party transactions. You should know about the disclosure of related party transactions and the disclosures. Okay, so that makes the list of frequently asked ones. Just let's make it on the next page. So that's the list of 15 on your screen, right? Okay, so will this 15 be done in the next 2 to 3 weeks? Will you revise all this up in the next 15, 16 days, all of you? One a day, at least one a day. In next 15 days, you finished it off. And it should be done before you start the block 3. But again, is this an exhaustive list? Is this only the list you're doing, all of you? Is this an exhaustive list? No, you should do all the standards you have in SPR. And every paper you do in block 3, you will come across so many accounting treatments, right? So when you come across so many accounting treatments, you will be revising them through my lectures, you will be revising them through my practice, and you will be revising them through your own as well. Yes, these 15 at least are mandatory for before block 3, because at least you can do lots of papers then. If anyone is doing SPR with AAA, then you will be up to date with your accounting knowledge. You should not be revising. Whatever you're practicing in the SPR classes is sufficient. Is that clear to all of you? The frequently asked ones. Is everyone clear how to go down with the revision of the accounting knowledge? I'll be sharing a link recommended by ACCA with you in the WhatsApp group in the next 24 hours. And are you clear with the success formula given by your examiner, UPRE? So I hope you have got the benefits from this orientation session. I tried covering every possible aspect when to complete the course. I tried answering the question of how to go in order of the portal, which order to maintain on the portal, so on and so forth. So was it an effective orientation for all of you? Will you greatly or largely benefit from this orientation session, all of you? Any question which you would like to ask now? You have the next 10 minutes as your opportunity. If you think I've missed out something or a question was in your mind which is not answered in the orientation, you are more than welcome to ask it now. Okay. Kindly upload the session on the portal as well. Yes, definitely. The session gets to the portal as soon as possible with my everything I wrote on the Word file and the PowerPoint presentation. So you should not be worried about that. Okay, thank you. Largely benefited. Okay, thank you so much. It was quite an effective orientation. Thank you so much for that. Very useful session. So thank you. Okay. Any technical questions you would like to ask? Yes, the mock debrief will be recorded because I don't want the mock debrief to be live, because it is to be watched after you've done the mock. Otherwise, if I do the mock debrief live, it will finish off the purpose. I might do some live classes in August as like exam tips, techniques, something like a final revision. So if anytime I'm doing any live session, I'll keep you updated. But largely, you know, the course is pre-recorded. Yes, you will do well with that, Chiran Jiwi. So just follow the sequence of the course I mentioned you, and you will do all well. Okay, I try my best to keep some live classes in between after like 15, 16 days just to interact with you. But again, the course is recorded. and you have an access to talk to me on WhatsApp, you can send me a message in the group and I reply to that very effectively. You are connected with me on emails for your assignments, and I hope that is quite sufficient, because at the end of the day, you need to watch the course and you need to ensure that the guidance given to you in the orientation session is going in an effective manner. You should do every paper on the practice platform, right, Kelvin? So even if you're doing a paper which is not available on the practice platform, do it on the blank workspace before you send this to me. So try to do every paper on the practice platform. Even if that is not available, do it on the practice platform on the blank workspace. Marco, when you watch my webinars, in the webinars, I've covered the CBE practice. So how you use the practice platform, if you're unaware of that. So that is part of my webinars and mock debrief. I show on screen the platform. I practice on the platform. So you can watch my webinars and mock debrief for that. Okay, if you are a repeater, then you can start with the block 3. Sharif, the webinars, already all the changes in the AAA have been covered in my December 22 webinar and March 23 webinar. So that's the reason I'm not currently doing any webinars. I'm only doing the mock debrief. Even for June, I did the mock debrief. And for September, I will be doing the mock debrief. So if there is any new article, I'll do a session on that. If there is any change in the current issue, I'll do a lecture on that. And I'll keep them live. Any new article, I'll keep that live. Any new change in current issue, I'll do it live. Webinars will only take place if there is a substantial change in AAA, which is not planned for 2023 anymore. And I will be doing a mock debrief and uploading it on the portal. Is everyone clear? Any further questions which you would like to ask? Please ensure you practice more on the platform. You submit me answers after writing it on the practice platform and taking a printout and sharing the printout of the practice platform with me, not doing any past paper practice on with pen and paper. Right, so I'll be sharing the links of the SPR accounting standards in the next 24 hours. Just don't be drop me a message today. Where is the link? Where is the link? I will be sharing it and updating you. Don't worry about it. I hope you had an effective session. I wish you all the very best of luck and wish you success in your upcoming exams, whether you're preparing for September or December. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming into the live orientation. Have a nice day ahead and make a study planner in the next 24 hours. Yes, it is the time for execution, right? So you should sit down and do the execution now for the next 24 hours. Okay, thank you so much. Your tutor, Kashif Kamran, and I'm signing off from the orientation session for September and December exams 2023. Take care, goodbye, and Allah Hafiz.